This is the stuff dreams are made of. I'm writer-collector Ryan Condal.
And I'm writer-collector Dave Mandel, and you're listening to the original movie prop collecting podcast, brought to you by Heritage Auctions, HA.com. As we speak, today on the 15th, the Cecil B. DeMille auction is going on in Dallas, Texas. Go to HA.com and check that out. And then starting tomorrow, the 16th, 17th, and 18th, their big entertainment memorabilia auction. And we're going to be talking all about one of the items that's coming up for auction tomorrow. We'll get to that in a minute. Something very, very special. Hint, hint, hint. Sled, sled, sled. Rosebud, rosebud, rosebud. So see if you can guess. Hi, Ryan. How you doing?
Dave, it's a miracle that I'm even here right now, both mentally, physically, psychologically. I've done a lot of flying in the last 5 to 10 years, particularly the last 5 years since moving to London. This one reached a new height of fuckery. Thankfully I was flying solo. I was without my family, so I was
as you told me this story, all I could think of was thank God the kids weren't there, because I was sort of here texting with you, and that's all I could think of was thank God the children.
You were having phantom
honestly,
pain for me.
Yeah.
Yes, and I was very my blood pressure through all of this actually kept at a very, very low rate, just because, like, what are you gonna do? So I was meant to fly out on a red eye. I left my family in New Jersey. They're visiting friends. I got to see people for a couple days, as we talked about. I'm now coming back to the teeth of our schedule, shooting 2 giant sequences, sort of going head to head with each other on Fire and Blood Unit over the rest of the course of the month, and it's gonna be pretty mental. So I wanted to be here for all that. So my plan was to being very time efficient, fly on the red eye, land morning London time, go right to the studio, work for the day in the fugue haze state of being jet lagged and whatever. I've done it before. It's all fine. So I arrive to the airport. I check in. I go to the lounge. I hang out. Comes around to check-in time. Nothing is posted on the board, but sometimes it's a little behind and whatever. So I walk to the gate. And when I get there, I've become very good at sort of reading the tea leaves of what's going on at the gate.
The gate vibe, like this is cool, this is not cool.
Yeah. And there was stuff going on, and there were too many, like, supervisor level people milling around there, and somebody on cell phones and all this. And I was just sort of like, what are we in for? What are we here? So right at the moment where basically, if you're not at the airport already, and the plane was taking off on time, you're fucked. And that's when they pick up the microphone to go, unfortunately, always the good first word, we're delayed, and on. There's a maintenance issue with the plane, so you're waiting. Okay, well, what are we talking about here? And they're like, it was a 6:15 p.m. takeoff. They're like, the new takeoff time is now 2:30 a.m.
Wow.
In the middle of the night, when the airport is closed. Airports do not stay open overnight. Some flights land sort of in them. So airports are I guess facilitated to receive passengers,
but no taking off,
but not taking new passengers in the middle of the night. And I'm like, doing the math, that's 8 hours and 15 minutes worth of delay. That's not a delay. You canceled the flight. You canceled the flight, but you didn't cancel the flight. So then everybody panics and rushes the gate and gets in line. I have nowhere to go. So what do I just get in line with them, because my question is, how do I get off this? How do I get out of this chicken shit outfit and get myself on a real plane? And I eventually get to the woman who's dealing with all of the very agitated people with all of their sob stories. And I'm just like, can I get on another flight? How do I get my bag back? I checked her bag. She said, ooh, that's going to be tough. So I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, we're not canceling the flight. So there is a flight. So basically, unless you transfer to another, if you go on the app, always awesome, transfer to another United flight, then they would transfer your bag. But I'm already thinking, we have this fancy travel agency out here that does all our production booking. I'm going to call them, make this their problem. And I want them to be free to book me on, Lufthansa, British Air, like whatever. So they get into it, and I sit there for half an hour. They can't get they can book. There are willing and waiting seats for me. I could run across the terminal right now and just scoot right into business class on a different plane, but they wouldn't have my bag, and it would cause a whole kerfuffle if my bag's not on the plane. Cut to it being blown up on the tarmac of Newark Liberty International Airport. So I'm stuck. So I talked to 3 different people who all assured me it was okay to leave the airport, even though I had a checked bag, even though I'm checked in for this flight, because there's this huge, time gap.
See, that seems like equally terrible. Like, I don't know, if you were trying to like kill the president or something. I don't know. I know. You shouldn't be able to just leave the airport with your bag on a plane. Yeah.
That felt like something where they shouldn't go, oh yeah, sure, no problem. So, but they all did. And I talked to this very high level United woman. And then I went to the very smart people that work at the lounge, and I sought out the supervisor at the lounge, and I asked the same question. I got the very same answer, but she said very ominously, I would just get back here before midnight because I don't know what the story at security is. Because obviously at some point the terminal is open, but you can't get there because they pull down all the metal shutters and security. Right. So I went home in the worst encore ever that no one asked for. Daddy's back. I dealt with the crying kids because we were leaving for a while. So they were happy to see me, had dinner with them. Then went to bed for an hour and then set my alarm. Pre-booked an Uber, came back, picked me up, took me to the airport. Now it's midnight, and now I'm still 2.5 hours from the stupid plane leaving, but I'm worried about security. And sure enough, there's one TSA dude left, just like the guy that looks like he's 97 years old, sitting at the booth. There's one conveyor belt running, and I don't know how much more time I had after that. So I clear security very quickly. And then I just go and sit at the gate. And then that's when our text exchange began about, now we have a flight crew. Now we have a pilot. The pilots have boarded the plane. The pilots have not come back off the plane. Maintenance is exiting the plane. And finally, they called us to board. We took off half an hour late, so we took off at 3 a.m.
Of course, yep.
I will tell you, though, you taxi to take off real quick at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was almost like we had just backed out, K-turned, and then just launched into orbit. It was such a fast takeoff, and I was like, oh, this is great. No air traffic. This must have been what I was like in the old days. I'm usually a big United fan, but fuck United for last night. That was ridiculous. Canceled the goddamn flight. You put all those people through this horrible thing. The plane is now half empty because the people that didn't check their luggage or whatever just moved on with their lives. And you're a prisoner at this airport. 8 hours is not a delay. That's not a delay. That's a new scenario, new situation, starting over again.
It is really every article you read about travel at this point, and I don't know how people do it. I can do it for a certain amount of time, but not for I don't get how people travel for a month with a carry-on only. I don't understand it. I get that they do laundry. I understand what laundry is, but yeah. I just don't understand how what do you I guess you're just finding laundromats in weird towns and whatnot. I don't know, but it does seem like the true secret of air travel at this point is never to check a bag.
Never check a bag.
Not just for what's happened to you, but just coming and going, every end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm usually of that mindset, but there's
you with
just
the whole family and all the stuff.
Yeah, and I was trying to offload for them because there's a whole ton of shit that we can't get here that's liquid.
Right.
And so I have my, Dave, this is not going to surprise you, I have my whiskey suitcase because I've been muling whiskey back to the U.S. because stuff that I don't want to open here that I do want to open eventually, but trying to save it from the temptation of being opened. So I have a whiskey, it's a wine travel suitcase. So it's got all the foam cutouts inside, protects the bottles. So
you got your whiskey, you got your whiskey suitcase, you got your dragon suitcase, you got your sword suitcase. I mean, that's a lot of luggage. Yeah,
exactly. You got to bring all these things back and forth, and so all the little cutouts perfectly fit all these liquid things that Caitlin wants for the kids, for herself. I had some things in there. My favorite beef jerky, which I loaded in there, and then saw the signs when I landed about how much pork product you can bring in. Thankfully, it was beef jerky, so I think we're okay.
What is your favorite beef jerky? I'm curious.
It's from this, Thrive Market. Have you heard of them?
I have no idea.
It's
no.
like they service like Southern California, but I'll find, I don't remember the label. Dave, it's so bougie. It's Wagyu beef jerky, and
Nice.
it's tremendous. But only Thrive Market sells this stuff. So it comes in a box, but it packs all flat because there's like flat little strips of it. It's great. I'll send you one. I'll send you one over in a whiskey suitcase.
My son has been eating a very specific, like, spicy beef jerky, and I think it is slowly eating his innards. Like literally, like what is coming out of him is like, yeah, it's like it's pure jerky. I don't know what else to say. Yeah,
concentrated evil. It's like the plot of Ghostbusters 3, where that's slowly making him whatever the Gozer's Tower thing was, that he's now that thing to summon the next. Yes. No, this is. I mean, Thrive Market only sells the cleanest, purest stuff. So I think this is supposed to be whatever.
Beautiful.
But it's very good. It was not worth the 8.5 hour delay that I suffered. So, but I'm back here. Everything's back. I made our scheduled time for the podcast. I'm excited to actually talk about movies and props and anything but air travel after airline talk.
I'm fine with a travel podcast. I'd be fine.
People like hearing about our lives and that we're normal people.
We're regular people too. Yeah, with our whiskey cases.
That fly business class with their whiskey cases loaded with premium beef jerky made out of Wagyu.
Yeah, I put my beef jerky on one leg at a time, just like everybody else.
Well, your assistant does it, but yes. Yeah. Are you angry about anything today, Dave?
I'm angry a little bit. I had a lovely weekend, which was we went on July 5th. We went for the 50th anniversary. We went to Jaws at the Hollywood Bowl with the LA Philharmonic, conducted by David Newman. And it was absolutely fantastic. But I will tell you, and again, high-class problems, I had splurged for these, what they call the pool circle seats, which are the near the front, and got there to basically discover that the screen was above a couple of our seats, and some of the seats were behind the screen, and then watched as everybody else arrived, because we were there a little early for food, and basically had the same experience of, I don't understand how the hell was I sold these tickets, and no one, there used to be tickets, you buy for a concert and you're somewhere and it says obstructed view. That's a normal terminology. And just could not get a straight answer at the bowl. Just a lot of, I'm new, we just do food and beverage, whatever. Someone at the box office was kind enough to switch out other seats for us, and we moved back. But I moved from these really expensive, almost $300 seats to these $100 seats, which were 1,000 times better. But nowhere in there did anybody give me my money back. And it was an incredible evening. It was really fun to see. I also ran into a shitload of just people I knew at the screening, which was very, very fun. But it is just, I don't know, it is just crazy, the level of, I guess I'll simply say, I feel like every company in the world got very used to, for COVID, understaffing and destaffing and whatnot. And now that it's over and everything is back to normal, it's like they put their prices back to premium prices, but service, my Lord, my God. And I just don't understand. Note, you can't see the screen. Woman goes, we have little televisions. The TVs are smaller than my computer screen. It was just like, what are you talking about here? It was crazy. But anyway, it was all taken care of. But that is that's my complaint of the week.
See, Dave was smart. He was able to move seats because he didn't check a bag at the Hollywood Bowl, so he had
Normally
free reign.
I do. Normally I have a steamer trunk with me, but I did not.
Yeah.
It was
You smuggled the beef jerky inside the trench coat this time.
They sell really great beef jerky at the bowl. Now, it was so infuriating, and like I said, it was dealt with. But my Lord, I just don't get it. I don't know what else to say. I just don't understand. And by the way, like I said, I was there looking around, and other people were it was a section of people just going, what the fuck? Clearly this happens. Obviously, everything they do isn't a screening, but they do a couple of screenings a year, and I guarantee you
they do enough
it happens
of those things.
Every screening. They know what was going on. They're making an active choice. And I don't know if you've bothered yet. I wrote a letter last night. I wrote a letter, a formal letter of just saying, I mean, and I didn't even specifically ask for anything. I just said, this is unacceptable. There's no notification. It was very clear no one else knew anything either, that no one there was whatever, and that while we were switched out the seats, I don't understand. And, please respond. And I guarantee you I will never hear from them again, I'm sure.
Did you receive a complimentary $20 meal voucher for your 8.5 hour inconvenience?
I did not. I did not.
I did.
You have
to use it all.
What'd you spend it on?
I bought. You know what I bought? I bought the bottle of water that I had to throw out when I got back to the airport because I had already bought my bottle of water.
Oh, there you go.
The first time.
I was about to say, I know what you didn't buy: beef jerky.
Yeah, no, I had plenty of that. I had no access to it because nobody knew where my bag was. But boy, is it waiting for me now. No, I got a $20 meal voucher and I bought only a bottle of water. I was told I needed to use it all in one place. I was in a Starbucks that had closed so hard the only thing left was like water and granola bars, and I said, "I'm fine. I just want a free bottle of water."
I know this is gonna sound silly. I know you have better things to do. Maybe put someone on it. Write a note. They'll give you mileage. They will give you mileage.
Really?
It will not alleviate what you went through. It will not be a solve. It will not be a bomb. It will be nothing. But you will get a measly bonus amount. They'll send you a couple of 1,000 miles or something, and you will be angry about that as well. But they will, if you write the letter, they will do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well. Yeah. Maybe I can just take your Hollywood Bowl letter and just swap out the name.
Yeah, just a couple of different words, Jaws and whatever.
Viewing angle.
Yeah. Well, this is what
good.
podcasts are really for at this point. I'm not sure the props. Right. Anyone cares about the props, but a slice of life.
Yeah. Do you have a What's New in Props?
I have a What's New in Props, actually, very exciting announcement. Actually, it's connected to our exciting sponsor, but it does qualify as What's New, and I believe we are breaking the story. So this is very exciting. Heritage Auctions on September 26th will be proud to be holding an auction of Guillermo del Toro's Bleak House auction, his Bleak House auction. Apparently, when the fires happened, Guillermo went through apparently something a little similar to what I went through, and has a lot of his houses, Bleak House, or the extra houses he owns that his collection is sort of held in instead of a condo. He has Bleak House, and I guess he went through and has pulled out a bunch of stuff. I got a little preview of it. Pretty amazing. There's art, there's props and art from his movies, there's art he collected. He has a real collector's eye for art in general, but really just amazing stuff. And this is a selection of things from Bleak House that he'll be selling on September 26th. And for those of you in the LA area, everything will be previewed at the Beverly Hills Heritage Office the 11th through the 25th. The 11th through the 25th of September, followed by the auction on the 26th. And that's Guillermo del Toro's the Bleak House auction. Very, very cool. And we're excited to tell you about it here first. So look for I'm sure there'll be a preview soon on heritageha.com, and then followed by a catalog. Really, really something special. And with any luck, we'll get Guillermo on here, which would be really something. I would love to have him on and talk to him about the
That's
fire.
Awesome.
Yeah, and like how he got to this point, because I got to years ago. I went to in LA. He had an exhibit at the museum of his stuff. So it's sort of interesting that he's actually selling something. I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised, having gone through a similar thing. So very, very exciting. And I think that's a pretty cool What's New in Props. Yeah.
Hopefully we can get him on. We've teased that longer than we've teased George Lucas, so maybe we can actually make it happen. Maybe this means finally we'll make George happen when his museum opens.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, probably not, but Guillermo maybe. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. I'm gonna donate comic art to the George Lucas Museum, and the only requirement or request will be he has to do the podcast if he wants.
I like this.
Yeah, if he wants the whatever. I have another What's New in Props. Oh, sorry, what you were gonna say something? Is this how this is gonna go?
No, I was just gonna ask. Is this how this is gonna go? So Guillermo has an auction because he's the fires have scared him straight. You're selling off a bunch of your stuff. So Guillermo buys the Dave Mandel collection. Dave buys the Guillermo del Toro collection.
I buy his stuff up, and no one is the wiser. Yeah, exactly.
And then, yes, you both feel better psychologically, but really nothing has changed in either of your lives or worlds.
I believe I have less geographical square footage of stuff than he does. So I feel like I don't know, either winning or losing, depending on how you want to look at it. Winning,
I feel
winning vis-a-vis my wife, losing vis-a-vis the world of collecting. Yeah.
Yes,
does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, from what little I understand about his collection, I would presume he because your collection is so flat in many cases because it's so expansive in comic art. My feeling is his stuff actually does take up more space because he has huge Frankenstein
a tremendous
heads
amount
and
of art, but he definitely has props from his own movies, from other things, model kits, displays. I think he builds and paints his own models too. So there's all sorts of stuff. It's really, really just spectacular. Some of the stuff, and just even like some of the storyboards from his movies are gorgeous looking. There's I think on Blade 2, Mignola did storyboards on Blade 2 for Guillermo. So there's stuff like that, and then of course Mike did storyboard stuff and like design stuff for the Hellboy movies, and so there's some of that
for Hellboy. Yeah.
So that's just really, really incredible. Yeah.
Great, exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. Have you ever met him? Have you met him socially out?
We were doing Eurotrip when they did Hellboy. We were all in Prague at the same time.
Oh, that was in Prague.
And and that's why Jeffrey Tambor, who I can't remember his character's name, but he's in the first Hellboy movie, and he plays Scotty's dad
he's
in
like
Eurotrip.
The government agent.
Yes, he's the government stooge. And he plays Scotty's dad because we were able to grab him for a day. And basically, I didn't really know Mike that well at that point, but we knew people in common. And I kind of reached out. And when I think Kelvin and Albert Moy were visiting Eurotrip, Albert had been selling Guillermo art, and so we used it as an excuse, and we went over on an off day and got to visit the Hellboy set. And
awesome.
Ron Perlman was in full Hellboy makeup that day.
Oh,
and
awesome.
I got to take a picture. I got to take a picture with him, and we got to take a picture on the sets, which were just incredible. And of course, I'm coming. We built a Vatican, but most of what we built was a lot of just like hotel rooms and just restaurants and things like that. So to be on a it's very similar to your thing where like you're on this dungeon set, you're just like, oh, this is incredible. But got to see Mike briefly, who I think was sick. Got to meet Guillermo, who it was 4 seconds. I don't think he realized who anything of. I think I was in and out of his whatever, but the rest of it was very fun. So yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that's
we'll tell him that story and see if he recalls.
Maybe he'll remember Albert being there. I don't know, but I'll put the picture up of me with Hellboy. That was a pretty good shot. So
great.
So that was fun. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we've wasted enough of the people's time in a good way, and I believe I just heard our guest walking into the waiting room. No, we don't really. It doesn't work like that.
Yes.
We interviewed him the other day, and now we're shooting this part. But yeah, no.
That's right.
But
different shirts.
This is pretty spectacular. Obviously, the cover piece of the big Heritage Auction, which will be sold in Session 2 tomorrow on July 16th at ha.com in Dallas, Heritage Auctions, is of course the sled from Rosebud, Citizen Kane. Check out our video. I got to go see it. Check that out on our YouTube channel. It is, I think it's one of the all-time great movie props from arguably, depending on your list, the greatest movie ever made. And
it's incredible. It's
and
part of the trifecta. Yeah. Right? It's the Maltese Falcon, Ruby Slippers, and Rosebud, right? Didn't we decide that's the trifecta
100%.
of Golden Age movie prop?
And I think one of the things that's really cool about this piece, in addition to it being Citizen Kane, and in addition to it being what it is the fact that the owner is director Joe Dante, one of my all-time favorite directors, the Gremlin movies,
awesome.
of course, and
Burbs.
so much more. Yep. and we are delighted to welcome him as a guest today to talk all about it, and really excited for the sale tomorrow.
And Dave, I failed to bring this up with him when we were chatting with him, but I did bring it up in the sort of pre-interview space. Fellow New Jersey man, so grew up in
I did know that.
in Morristown, New Jersey. So that just
he
increases
has probably
Joe's
spent
coolness.
many an evening at Newark Airport as well. So yeah.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that. We can do that part 2 of
but check out our discussion with Joe Dante. It was really, really fun talking with him.
Everybody, please give a warm welcome to the great Joe Dante. Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
Woo! Woo!
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
you are officially the biggest guest star we've ever had. I don't know. I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse, but you are officially the biggest guest star we've ever had. So
you have my sympathy.
very good.
I know it. You've told the story in the catalog. We've sort of discussed the story, but because we never thought we'd actually have you, just take us back to you're on the Paramount lot. You're prepping. Was that Explorers? Was that what you were prepping or shooting, or what were you working on? And to just tell us the story if you can.
I had worked at Paramount previously on Police Squad, which was
right. You did a couple episodes of that. Right. I read that. Yeah.
2 of 6.
2 of 6. Nice.
I knew some people who were in the executive ranks of that place, and so I was making this movie Explorers. I was in the middle of it. As you may know, Paramount is one half of the lot is Paramount, and the other half used to be RKO. And then when RKO went bust, Paramount took over the whole lot. But what they also took over was whatever was underground. And studios do tend to keep a lot of their stuff underground. And they were doing a clean out. And the dumpsters were filled with props and lamps and tables and all sorts of stuff that these guys were just throwing out. I mean, it's basically, the studios always say, we never throw anything out.
Right.
In fact, that's all they do is throw stuff out to make room. And so
by the way, I know those are lamps and tables and stuff, but it boggles the mind to think about what those might have been, lamps and tables from. You know what I mean?
And I was only privy to what I could see sticking out of the dumpster. I mean, I wasn't, going through the archives. So this guy who was a worker on the film in the carpentry division showed me this prop and said, we're going to dump this. Do you want it? And it wasn't Paul Stewart, it wasn't the butler saying, throw that stuff. It was a real person. And so I said, well, yeah, I think I could take that off your hands. And it turned out to be a Rosebud. Now its provenance has been, we've discussed it and we've had it verified, and there's a whole litany of how many Rosebuds were there and who did they go to and all that. And there's a possibility that this Rosebud, which is not made of balsa wood, which I assumed it was, because I assumed it was made to burn, but it wasn't. It was actually a pine rosebud, which meant that it must have been used during the movie. Or it could be the Rosebud from Hellzapoppin that was used in a joke that they did in Hellzapoppin, which is the same year.
Oh, wow.
And since Orson...
Or, by the way, that could be the same Rosebud.
Well, that's true. It could well be Rosebud. I don't think they would have made it specially for Olsen and Johnson.
Right.
Just here, you can use this and give it back. So anyway, that's it, and it was in pretty good condition. So I took it home and I put it in my screening room on the wall. And interestingly, when I was redoing my house, the workers needed to go to the bathroom, and I said, well, you can go to the bathroom in my screening room, and so they walked into the screening room, and where my Rosebud was, and also my video projector. And then afterward, when my house was broken into by, I think, those same guys, they took my video projector, but they had no interest in Rosebud because they didn't know what it was.
That's hilarious. I have 2 very quick questions. Number one, the guy that said, hey, do you want to see this thing? He knew what it was, though, right? He at least thought he thought you'd be interested in it. Like he at least knew you were into older movies and whatnot.
I can't verify that. I don't
Sure.
remember because I honestly don't remember the guy's name. I remember vaguely what he looked like, and he was like one of many people on the crew that you make a movie, there's a lot of people, and sometimes you don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Uh, but maybe he divined that there would be it was obviously something to do with film history, and he knew I liked movies, and so he suggested that.
It was Kismet.
It was great.
Yeah.
And for years, nobody, unless somebody visited me, nobody knew I even had it.
When you brought Rosebud home and sort of decided I'm going to mount this in the screening room, what did your wife ever complain? Because we talk about that on our show a lot.
No. I only associate with the most film savvy people.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Very good.
Everybody was very duly impressed. And
Because you should know that if you decide to ever bring home a giant Batwing from Batman or an X-Wing from Star Wars, your wife will get pretty pissed. That's just for the record. Yeah,
You do get notes.
they get pissed if you put an ugly poster up. I mean,
that's true.
It's one of the things you have to put up with, have a relationship.
So you had this on your screening room wall, and you could actually, I guess, in some version, play Citizen Kane while it was sitting on your wall in your screening room.
I don't think I actually ever did that.
Oh my God.
Because I know the movie so well already, by heart, that it wasn't like, oh, I've got to show the sled the movie.
I totally would have done that. Did you have other film props at the time? Was this the first thing that you ended up with?
I'm not a prop guy. I don't even really collect a lot of props from my own movies. I have a couple of Gremlins. I have some Howling werewolf stuff, and I have some Inner Space stuff. But for the most part, I don't really collect props. And
are you a collector in general? I mean, you mentioned movie posters. Do you have that, if you will, that collecting gene?
Collected movie posters. I collected stills. Mostly, I collected films. I was a huge 16 millimeter film collector. I had a huge 16 millimeter collection. Now, of course, they don't make the prints, they don't make the projectors, they don't make the bulbs. So I switched over to DCP video, and it's obviously it's actually better because the source material is closer.
Sure.
And it's not splicey, and it's not, if you've ever been to Quentin Tarantino's 2 theaters that he runs in Hollywood, he is crazed about 35 millimeter. He's a 35 millimeter devotee. And it doesn't really seem to matter to him whether the picture is faded or whether it's splicey or whether it's got scratches in it. He revels in that. And if you ever saw Grindhouse, I mean, the whole idea behind Grindhouse was, let's show people what it was like to watch these movies, and in the condition that I saw them, which was, beat up, basically. And unfortunately, when they released Grindhouse, they neglected to tell the audience what Grindhouse meant, because there were no more Grindhouse. And the audience just stayed away, particularly because there were 2 movies, and they would leave after the first one because they didn't understand the concept of double feature. Right. So that was an unfortunate missed opportunity. But no, I'm very happy with the way that my screening room has gone. And through Blu-rays, look, I can't tell you how many festivals I've gone to, and I say, what print are you running of my movies? And they say, oh, we're running the Blu-ray. And they tend to look pretty good.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what took the spot in the screening room? Have you replaced what was in the? Perfect.
I love it. It's perfect. It's the 16 millimeter version of Rosebud.
Exactly.
To scale, yeah.
Once you acquired it, was there, because we know from sort of lore that there are other Rosebuds out there, but it seems like they're balsa wood ones or the burn ones. Did you attempt to find is this the one? Did you do any research on it?
No, I worked with Steven Spielberg a lot, and
I think what Ryan was actually about to say was, or really what he wants to ask is, did you ever rub it in with Spielberg
no,
that his was balsa and yours was an actual sort of hero prop pine?
Because I didn't know for sure that his was balsa, but I do know that he was up at Amblin all the time in this glass case, and it was buffed up to a fare thee well. I mean, it looked brand new. It looked like it came, the manufacturer. And so I knew there was another one out there. But no, I never felt like I had to go, well, I got one too, and you paid $1,000 for yours and I got mine for free.
That's a good part.
I didn't want to go there.
No, collectors love hearing that, but yeah.
Have you in the years since ever seen another one that is, a hero version?
No, I've never seen any other one other than that one.
You talked about the robbery thing, and obviously, boy, I mean, even when you got it, Citizen Kane, I think, had already, what's the word I'm looking for? Citizen Kane had already become Citizen Kane, obviously. So, it had already been reevaluated and was, at number one, or back and forth between number 1 and 2 and the great list of all time. And you mentioned the robbery. Did it ever worry you, sort of? I mean, I don't know, did you have insurance? Were you worried about, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like, look, there on my wall is a Gutenberg Bible. Did you think about that ever?
I never thought of it that way. And in fact, I would put it in the trunk and take it to a studio and put it in the background of a scene I was doing in a movie.
Oh my God.
It was in a couple of movies and TV shows that I did because I just like to put Easter eggs and stuff. And as soon as I got it at Paramount, I put it into Explorers because there was a scene where the kids go into a junkyard, and so there's a shot that starts on the Rosebud sled, and I thought, well, that's kind of a funny idea. The kids are and there's Rosebud, and so it just became sort of a fun thing to put in a movie, and I would take it off the wall and bring it in and bring it back.
That's funny. I loved Explorers as a kid. I do not remember that, but it's probably because I didn't have any context.
You didn't know what Citizen Kane was at the time.
Yeah. It's in the Burbs though, too, right?
Yes, it's in the Burbs too.
Yeah.
Where is it in the Burbs?
It's in the basement when they come down the basement, and I always try to put a light on it so people can see it.
Little key light, nice.
This is brilliant collecting moves, Joe, because this makes the prop screen used in multiple movies, so
Absolutely.
It just keeps increasing its story and provenance. Exactly.
But I never thought of it as something that was worth money. I just thought it was something that was worth keeping.
One of the things that I think is cool is the fact that both it and the Spielberg sled, and I believe they said also the third sled that sold all those years ago, that I guess the metal had been removed from all of them, probably for the war effort or something like that. And I guess that was one of the things, along with the scientific carbon dating and whatever they did to it in the
which we did,
and is 100% wonderful and great, and the wood is pre-atomic age and all of those things, which are very important. And obviously the match on the Rosebud and the flower, the Rosebud itself. But I something about the missing metal for me, as much as anything, was really, I don't know, as I sort of got to see it in person, really struck me as, oh my God, this is one of three. It really, I don't know, that match hit me as much as anything, if that makes any sense.
Which I don't think Spielberg's has. And if you look at the movie, the one that hits Mr. Thatcher has a rope on it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know that it's the same rope, but it certainly goes in the same place.
Yeah.
So we did a whole lot of we got experts out of the walls and say, is this the wood is from pre whatever, it's
pre-atomic age. Yeah,
it's been pretty much verified.
Did you do that specifically in preparation for the heritage auction, or had you done that as?
Yeah, no, I never. Not, of course not. I was just like, I was happy to have it. I wasn't like, oh, is this real?
Okay.
I mean, I just assumed it's real.
In the back of your mind, though, you did have to know that, having made the decision to sell it, you did realize like this was going to be big, though. Yes, like I mean, again, I know you didn't think of it as I'm the caretaker of this super expensive prop, but having made the decision to let it go to kind of pass it on to like a new generation, you were aware of the fuss it was going to kind of create in a fun way. Yes.
Yeah, I was, but I wanted to make sure that it was verified.
Yeah. No, of course, of course. I just meant in terms of it's Rosebud. I mean, I walked into Heritage in Beverly Hills where they've been displaying it, and it's in its own case, and they've actually put the word Rosebud. I mean, it's really something. All the other props are jammed into like 10 different things in one case, and then it's just this big case.
Well,
Rosebud.
I think Heritage feels it's right up there with the ruby slippers.
I would agree.
Yeah,
yeah, we
talked about it
more than one also.
Yeah.
What we talked about is Ruby Slippers, Maltese Falcon, Rosebud. Like those are like your big three for us. I don't know if there's there are other certainly movies from the period I like, but like you take a movie like Casablanca, I'm not sure there's quite the prop.
The thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the piano maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
The piano, I think.
Yeah. But it is so wonderfully iconic. You obviously you're a movie fan. I know you're not a prop collector, but I guess if somehow magically Rosebud left you and other props like joined you, what would be some favorite props from like just movies you dig? It doesn't have to be valuable. It could just be, because I know you're a big horror fan, obviously, or you were, certainly that was kind of where you got your start. What are some props like you would like love sort of having or seeing or what?
Of my movies or
it can both hit us with both your movies, but also movies you're a fan of.
I had the opportunity to save props from my movies, and I chose a very small group.
You said a couple of Gremlins. You said something from a couple of things from Inner Space. Did you save like like a model of the ship, or what did you save from Inner Space?
Ship models. I got the Explorer's ship model.
Oh, that's great.
And it's in lucite, which I lent to some film festival in Europe, and they smashed it, and I had done. But the Peltzer inventions in Explorers, all the Peltzer egg beater or whatever the hell it was. Anyway, I saved some of those, but they're in the garage. They get and they appear in movies of mine. If you're eagle-eyed, they're in the hole. I have a lot of there's a basement. Anytime there's a basement in a movie of mine, there's a prop from some picture that I've done.
They make multiple appearances.
But I mean, flying saucers from Forbidden Planet, or something like that would have been probably be something. But those are too big. I'm just I prefer to have the movies rather than the props.
Understood.
I get it.
Do you have a favorite film? Is it Citizen Kane?
Everybody says, what's your favorite movie, and I go, what time is it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's just too many.
Sure.
Well, let me go this way. Was Citizen Kane your favorite Orson Welles movie, at least?
It was certainly a movie I was very impressed with when I saw it and very moved by. My favorite Welles picture may be Touch of Evil.
Touch of Evil, yeah.
Various iterations.
Sure. Did you ever have a print of that? And if you did, what version did you have?
I prefer the preview version to the Walter Murch redo, just because the preview version is so much closer to the one that I remember. And
right, because that's what you saw.
I don't mind having the credits over the opening titles.
Sure.
And I was sort of disappointed that when they did the new version, the ultimate version, they didn't use the same typeface for the titles at the end. They just
interesting
generic typeface.
That music is always in my head a little bit. That that opening, the dun anyway.
But it's not, that music is not in the restored version because he wanted.
Oh, they took it out. Oh, interesting. Okay.
He wanted to have a litany of radio things that were going on.
Oh, like as he's walking and things that he's passing.
Original idea, which of course they didn't do. So they put Mancini's music on it. But you do get wedded to the version of the movie that you saw. It's considered Star Wars. I mean, so many people who saw Star Wars when it was new are very annoyed that they can't see the original version, which apparently has surfaced in Britain in a Technicolor print.
Yeah.
The actual original.
Ryan was actually there for the screen. Ryan was there for the screening.
I went to see the screening because I was so annoyed that I couldn't see the original of the movie.
I know. It's like, I just don't understand people. If you want to redo your movie, fine, but don't take the other one away.
Exactly. Thank you.
As a film collector, do you follow some of those stories, like, the people that have been like hunting for like the lost cut of Magnificent Ambersons by Wells? Like, there's always those stories of people like traveling down to South America to find stuff.
Every so often, we find a movie that's been lost for 70 years. I mean, if you live long enough, you always hope that sooner or later the movie that you always wanted to see restored will be restored. And it's been amazing how many movies that we thought were completely compromised and gone have resurfaced in director's cuts and things from the vault that nobody knew was in there. So there's always hope that somewhere there's another print of this. I mean, I'm still looking for the original version of Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. I would be very happy to see that version, but I don't think we're going.
Enlighten us. Is that just it doesn't exist anymore, or they made changes? Like, what exists?
They recut the movie because it's a film nerd story. But when they cast Bela Lugosi as the monster, it was because he had previously had his brain put into the monster in the previous movie, so he was talking. So this monster talks in Bela Lugosi's voice. And when they looked at it at the screening room, they said, this doesn't work, we don't like it. So they cut out all his dialogue. And of course, he's also blind, and they cut out all those references. So that's where the stereotype of the monster sticking his arms out, as he walks, is because that's the blind version. But you can't tell from the movie because they removed all that stuff. It was a stupid choice, because otherwise it's a pretty interesting movie. But that's just another example of the short-sightedness on the part of movie studios. And if you just look at Orson Welles' career, you get a whole lot of those.
Yeah. Is there something that surfaced during your time as a film collector that was the Holy Grail, so to speak, something particularly exciting to you that has come out?
Yeah, like a poster that you were trying to get for your collection, or a specific film, for your collection.
I can't. Nothing comes to mind, but I have been very encouraged by the fact that there's so many more things available to see now than there were when I started watching movies and started collecting. I mean, there's the amount of things that are available for people to see now, as opposed to what was available when I started watching, where you had to watch them on TV with commercials, and they were on in the middle of the night, and if you fell asleep, it was too late because it was not going to be on for another 10 months. It's everything, almost everything is available now. But what the problem is that you need somebody to curate it and say, okay, here's a movie you've never heard of, but you need to see this, which is why I started my website, Trailers from Hell, which has filmmakers commenting on trailers from movies that they think you should know about, and directors and actors and writers that you should know about. And it's been very illuminating to have people come up and say, well, I never would have heard of that movie if I hadn't seen it on your site. So
we should also let some of our listeners know you've been doing a little desk drawer cleaning and finding like some occasional like scripts and stills and whatnot, and kind of either auctioning those off or selling those on one of your website as well. Yes? No, maybe it's not.
We do that. I also have a website. Not to, I mean, a podcast, but not to.
No, plug away, please.
Pete, but it's called Movies That Made Me, and it's on. You can get it through Trailers from Hell, you can get it through Instagram, you can get it through whatever. But I do it with Josh Olson, and we've had a lot of really interesting people that I never would have gotten to talk to otherwise if I hadn't done a podcast.
Yeah,
very, very fun.
And you're talking to filmmakers on the podcast?
We talk to filmmakers who sometimes have a new movie, or sometimes are people that just want to. The gimmick is, tell us the 10 movies that made you want to make movies. Mm-hmm. And it's always fascinating to hear how many people mention Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. That would be in both of our mentions.
I was about to say, if you're of a certain age, and I think every couple of years there are those touchstone movies. It depends on your age. Yeah. I will feel very strange when my children, if they decide to make movies, like whatever weird films that they mention, because like they're viewing, I'm trying to drag my children into places like the American Cinematheque and take them to movies and show them things. And they go and they like a lot of stuff, but it is just funny. Like like if my daughter is somehow ever a filmmaker, she'll be like, "What's the movie that made you?" And it'll be Crazy Rich Asians, which is a fine film, but yeah, it's just
Okay.
it's a fine film. Yeah,
Better than the 23rd Marvel retread.
there you go. There you go. Fair enough.
Fair. I just wanted to add, I'm such a massive, I know Dave is too, massive Gremlins fan, both films. I just wanted to know specifically, like, what did you keep from Gremlins?
Well, as I said, I have the Peltzer inventions, and I have
Yeah.
Gremlins, mostly from Gremlins 2, because the stuff that the Gremlins are made of rots.
Yeah.
And there's really it just doesn't keep, no matter if you, there are some from the original movie which a design that I actually prefer, but unless they're refrigerated, they really don't last. And so I've got a Bat Gremlin
Oh, cool.
here, which is one of my favorites. But for the most part, they need immense restoration if you want to try to keep them. And some people do that. I mean, there are people I know in Europe who just specialize in trying to restore.
Yeah, the restorations that they've done on those first film Gremlins, like they're pretty good. I mean, they do a decent job.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yes, yes. I don't want to do it, but certainly I wouldn't buy one without the restoration. So it kind of it's that sort of situation, I guess.
And were the Mogwais the same in the first movie?
Well, the Mogwais were so difficult because they're small, and to fit all those gears and stuff in their heads, they would break down constantly, and it was very frustrating. And to get any kind of emotion, we had to build giant heads, which was actually kind of frightening to be near. But almost all the actual acting that the Mogwai do is giant heads that we did later.
Yeah.
I feel like at some point there was an auction, not for the whole head, but for maybe it was a replacement, like a replacement face, like an extra.
Yeah, there have been a number of auctions, and
yeah,
Chris Walas did the first Gremlins, and Rick Baker did the second, and all those things are floating around the ether.
Yeah, because Rick Baker did a big selling off of his a big auction of his archive. There was definitely a lot of Gremlins in there. Yeah. The moment, for whatever it's worth as a fan, the moment in the second Gremlins, I love the first Gremlins too, but the moment in the second Gremlins that I can remember, I mean, I saw it in a theater, the moment where the film bubbles and melts, and then you realize that there's a gremlin up there in the projection booth. Goddamn, that hit me at exactly the right time and age and moment in my life, where I felt like I'd never seen anything like that moment.
You almost didn't, because they really hated that idea.
That's the studio. They hated it. Yeah.
If you do that, they'll leave. I said, they're not going to leave. It's ridiculous. They're going to like it. Let me do it. Let me preview it. Just let me preview it. And of course we previewed it, and it was big hit, and everybody was laughing because they did think the film broke, and then they realized.
The visceral moment of, it's like we're gonna have a delay, or they're gonna have to something, and then it's a joke. God, it was really perfect.
What I wanted to talk them into doing was getting some cardboard Gremlins on springs and putting them up in the projection booth, so that when people turned to look up at the booth, they would see these. No, we're not going to do that.
That's
You're
great.
lucky for letting you get away with it all.
Yes. I also saw that in the theater, and that the whole thing slayed me. I think that was the first, because I'm a bit younger than Dave, but I think that movie was my first sort of meta experience of the breaking the fourth wall and having a commentary with we're watching a movie that's aware that movies exist, and let me tell you, they hate them. Yeah, well,
but they love it. They love admitting when they're wrong, right? After the test screening, they love admitting.
The same studio that made Warner Brothers cartoons, which constantly broke.
Right.
Yes. It
And
was
then
the
when I made
basis.
my when I made my Looney Tunes movie, they said you can't do that. I said, but didn't you ever watch these things? Did you ever see a cartoon? As it turned
Did you
out,
ever watch these things? No, we did not.
no,
No,
they
we've
didn't.
never.
And
Yeah,
they
yeah.
weren't going to watch this one, which is what pisses me off.
Those same executives, if they'd broken into your house, would have also not stolen the
So
Citizen Kane sled. They would have stolen the video thing or something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a very strange question, and I hope you don't mind. It's vaguely political, but at the time, and again, I was growing up in New York City. It's kind of Trump Tower and Donald Trump in
Yes,
the
it
second Gremlins. Yeah.
It's a combination of Donald Trump and Ted Turner.
Oh, that's right, Ted Turner, right, who owned CNN and all that. Sort of fascinating, just with where we now stand today, I guess.
Embarrassing, actually.
Yeah. I guess the Gremlins should have, gotten him, but
And it would have saved us all a lot of.
yeah. It is an interesting thing, which again our audience just loves when I get political. But sometimes I do think about if New York, that unfortunately in New York City, we all knew he was kind of a joke, but they never really stopped him because no one ever thought like this would happen.
That's because
So he kind of,
he was such a jerk. They figured
I know,
I'd never amount to anything.
right?
Guess
Yeah.
what? He hasn't.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, also the 2007 writer strike that created The Apprentice was also to thank for all of this. I mean, it's just
A bad moment in American history.
lingering moment.
yeah.
It's lingering a lot right now.
Maybe that means we
So
need Gremlins 3, Joe.
I don't know.
Let's make it happen.
So what was the moment like, if you don't mind sharing with us, where you kind of, I don't know, whether it was you and your family, you and your wife, you and your kids or whatnot, where you sort of made the decision, I think it's time for the sled to go. Do you know what I mean? Like does anybody, did you check to see if anybody wanted to keep it in your family?
No,
Did you make a decision?
I just thought it was kind of an heirloom, and I had not enough people were seeing it. I mean, I felt it was kind of selfish to just hold on to it for my own purposes, and I thought it's time for it to go out in the world and be appreciated by other people.
Yeah.
Well, if nothing else, because I mean, it's been, I don't know if it's been overseas, but it's been here in Beverly Hills. It's going to New York. People in New York are going to be able to see it, and then it's going to go to Dallas for the auction. So depending, if you check the Heritage Auctions website, depending on when you're hearing this, you could be in the right city. So even if you don't win the bidding, you actually could still go and see it, which I highly, highly recommend.
They have a lot of other good stuff too.
They do, but nothing quite as good. They do it, by the way. They have a Gremlin. I don't know if you saw the Gremlin. I don't know if you were over there and saw they have a Gremlin. Yeah. Oh, they have two Gremlins. Okay.
They do. Yeah.
But none of those are yours. That's not, you didn't put those in.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But no, it's pretty amazing. I don't know. I again, not to wax rhapsodic for a second, but I've seen the one at the Academy Museum, but there was something about just seeing yours and sort of, I don't know, the auction of it all. It was very exciting. I'm not a bidder, but it was just really exciting. And I'm sort of, I don't know, I'm dying to sort of see what happens. Like, are you going to stay here and watch, or are you going to travel to Dallas for the auction? Do you have plans for the actual auction?
I'll just let them tell me what happens.
So you won't even be online watching. You'll wait for the phone call.
I guess if it's online, I might look at it. But.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you should watch online. It's exciting. David and I were not bidding, but we both watched the Ruby Slippers auction live, and it was, I mean, it went for 15 minutes or something. The bidding, it was something really. It was just $28 million. They didn't tell you this as part of the please auction Rosebud with us. Yeah.
No, I know those guys. I've actually bought some things from them. Years ago. But.
Oh, I guess I had assumed. Forgive me for assuming. I guess I had assumed that like part of your forgive me, calculation for lack of a better word. I assume maybe you had seen the result, and not that you thought yours was worth $28 million, but you kind of went, maybe it's time to let it go, kind of a thing.
I just thought it was I was a good house, and I trust them, and they've.
Oh yeah, totally, absolutely.
It's fine.
It's I mean, it's the star of the auction. I mean, there's wonderful stuff. The Cecil B. DeMille stuff is pretty incredible in terms of film history.
Yeah.
There's some interesting scripts and documents and other props and stuff. But I don't know. It's Rosebud. It's Citizen Kane. It's just, I don't know, filmmaking 101 or something like that. I don't even know what it is. It just, it really kills me.
It's very exciting, Joe. Do you have a, I mean, I asked this question now knowing that you didn't know what the slippers sold for, but do you have a feeling as to where it's going to go, or do you?
No, I have no idea. This is not my bailiwick. I don't do this for a living, so I just.
I don't think anybody knows. I mean, that's the fun thing.
Yeah.
When a unicorn like this comes out, nobody really knows what's going to happen. And I mean, it's funny to me because, if you think about, as Dave said, the sort of holy trinity of golden age movie props being Rosebud, the Maltese Falcon, the Ruby Slippers, these iconic things. Everybody knows what they are. They're what the movie is kind of about. It's the clear one thing from that movie. And the Ruby Slippers, Wizard of Oz is a wonderful movie, but it is kind of the sort of, the cheap seats, the popcorn, the bubblegum version of that, whereas Citizen Kane is this incredibly serious work of art, written and directed and acted and starred in by the same person who's 26 years old. It upended filmmaking. It's got such an important place in history. So I'm very curious to see what happens. But we know Peter Jackson bids on these things. We know that George Lucas has been involved at times. Spielberg might want to upgrade his sled.
The Sultan of Brunei.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sultan of Brunei.
Yep.
I think it's just a good idea to get it out there while there are still enough people alive who remember the movie.
Yeah, fair.
I'd like to think somebody will remember it. I think I want to say this Christmas, this December, they've got yet another new version. I don't know if that's the 4K version or a revised 4K version or something. I think I feel like we're hitting another anniversary or something of some sort.
There were a lot of problems with that negative for a while, so they luckily upgraded it. But I think they're only working from prints. I don't think there's any negatives.
But if they find the right print, hopefully it's still pretty okay. But that's the one. I mean, it sounds silly. We were talking before about screenings. That's the one I'm waiting for them to show. Oddly enough, in the last 2 years, they have not really shown it again in the greater Los Angeles area, or at least that I saw. That's the movie I'm dying to take my kids to now that they're a touch older to see on a big screen. I'm sort of avoiding it. I don't want them seeing it at home. We have a nice sized television, but I'm holding out on that one. I would really like them to see it. And I'm really curious too, because I'm not sure. I don't know. I feel like I'll go to that theater and I'll be watching them while they watch the movie, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
Not for the first time either.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, Joe, thanks so much. This was a real treat for us.
Real honor. Huge fans of your films.
Yes.
Across the board. Honestly, I know we mentioned a couple of them, and I'm going to give another shout out for Inner Space as well, which is hilarious. I actually still own I still own a VHS copy of it that I have in a storage unit somewhere. That was a big movie on VHS for me and my college roommates. We watched that a lot during college.
It was a flop in theaters, but it was huge.
Oh, so funny. So funny.
Inner Space is great, and for me, I don't know whether it's generational, but for me, it was The Burbs. The Burbs was this infinitely quotable, referenceable. It was so edgy and risque for my kind of middle school, kind of early high school crowd. It was just being quoted all the time.
Most popular movie.
Really? Yeah, The Burbs. Yeah.
God, I don't know. Funny. I love the movie, but I guess I would have ranked them somewhat. I don't know what I thought people liked. It's a
got the worst reviews of my career.
Really?
Oh, terrible. Awful. The New York Times said, as empty as a movie can be without actually creating a vacuum.
Oh, dear Lord.
You remember reviews like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's hysterical. I mean, it was.
It's absolutely hilarious.
80s. It hit 80s suburbia, right?
I mean,
right in the nose.
Humor.
That's right. Well,
Thanks,
screw
guys.
the New York Times. Who are they anyway? It's great to have you, Joe. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And you too can bid on Rosebud coming up this week. July 16th, Heritage Live
Tomorrow,
at
literally tomorrow.
ha.com.
Yeah.
Yes,
depending on
tomorrow.
depending on when you're listening to this, tomorrow or it was yesterday, and it's
There are no bids as of
billion
this
dollars. Yeah.
Yes, there are no bids as of this recording. I bet the activity for this one is probably mostly in the live sphere. We'll see how that all goes, but definitely go on. And this is one that's worth watching live because I think it's going to go pretty nuts, and it should be a fun.
I really
experience.
think it will. It could be an opportunity to bid right now, bid $250, and just you'll get outbid. But for one brief moment, you'll be the high bidder. I keep saying that, but it could be very fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you won? What if somehow I don't know, like everything went wrong and like somehow and it was just like you got Rosebud for $250. I mean, that's crazy. That could never happen. But my God, that would be shocking. Like to have to be like, so something weird happened at work today. I accidentally, honey, Rosebud.
Remember how you love Citizen Kane?
Yes. Well, good luck. Good luck to Heritage and to Joe Dante. That was a really fun talking with him. And
it's going to be a
please
great
check
auction run here. Yeah.
Please check out all our coverage on the podcast, our YouTube channel, all social media at Props Podcast. Please like, subscribe, and all whatever. I don't know. Anything else?
Write us at dreamsaremadepodcast@gmail.com and come back next week for another exciting episode of The Stuff Dreams Are Made Of.
Next week, we're going to also be talking about how to make your American Airlines mileage points go further. So look forward to that, too.